Hello, my dear students, and today topic is modern synthetic theory of evolution. So, what is modern synthetic theory of evolution means? Means a new theory is proposed, and this theory is a combination of previous theories. Before this theory, a number of theories were proposed by different scientists to explain this evolution. For example, Charles Darwin proposed natural selection theory. Hugo de Vries proposed mutation theory, Lamarck's use and disuse theory, and theory of abiogenesis and lot. So, in this theory, a number of scientists proposed that evolution takes place due to a number of factors, and some of these factors were taken from the previous theories. So that's why it is a synthetic theory. It is synthesized by using different viewpoints. So what are the name of those scientists who proposed this modern synthetic theory? First is our Fisher, second Haldane, third Dobzhansky, next is Huxley, next Mayer, Simpson, Stappins, Fisher, Sewell Wright, Mandel, and the T.H. Morgan. So these are the scientists who combinedly proposed this synthetic theory. So before we start this theory, there are some terms related to this modern synthetic theory. The first is our population. Population means all individuals of a same species. For example, we humans are one species. So all human beings constitute one population. Second example you can take of any organism. For example, dog. Dog is a second species and all the dogs constitute one species. So all dogs have one population. Next is a Mendelian population. So it is a small group of individuals who are able to interbreed, in which mating is possible, and because of this mating they have a common gene pool. So what is this gene pool? So next is our gene pool. Gene pool, you understand, a big water pool. Similar, it is a pool, but it is not of water. It is a pool of genes. Here a number of genes will be there, and these genes belongs to these individuals who can interbreed, or simply you say it is a gene pool of the Mendelian population. So the total genetic constituent of all individuals of Mendelian population constitute gene pool. Next is our gene frequency. Now genes are there is a gene pool, a number of genes are there, but what is their frequency? If I have to calculate any gene frequency, how should I calculate, or what does it mean? Gene frequency means the occurrence, how many times a particular gene is present in a gene pool. That is called the gene frequency. So what is this? It is the proportion of an allele, because a gene has a number of alleles. So what is the proportion of an allele to the total number of alleles at a given locus? So suppose this is our chromosome, this is our locus. So at this locus, what is the frequency of any allele? Suppose it is a small a. So what is the frequency of this allele in the gene pool? Because a number of individuals will be there, and this gene, or simply you say it, allele codes for a single character. For example, here. So what is the frequency of this allele in all the individuals in the Mendelian population? So that is our different terms related to this modern synthetic theory. Next, what are the factors that are responsible for evolution according to this theory? So broadly there are three factors. First is our genetic variation, second natural selection, and the third is our isolation. So First, genetic variation means how the differences appear in individuals, and such variation should be genetic, should be at the DNA level. So such variations are called the genetic variations. So in this we will discuss what are the factors that are responsible for this genetic variation. The first is a gene mutation, second gene recombination, third is our gene flow or migration, next is our genetic drift, and the last is our chromosomal aberrations. And these chromosomal aberrations further divided into four types. First is our deletion, second duplication, next is our inversion, and the last is our translocation. So these are the things which are responsible for this genetic variation. Next is our natural selection. So this natural selection here is taken from the Charles Darwin theory because it is very important for evolution. So it is written as such here. So we will discuss it in detail later on. Next is our isolation. So this factor is also responsible for this evolution. Isolation means separation. If there is a separation between the individuals of a population, then that also leads to the evolution, that is the formation of new species. So this isolation can be of two types. First is a geographical myth, that means physical barrier. Next is a reproductive isolation, means there is no physical barrier but still there is a isolation due to this reproductive barrier, means some intrinsic factors are responsible and due to which interbreeding is prevented between the individuals. So this reproductive isolation is of two types. First is a pre-zygotic or pre-mating reproductive isolation mechanism, and second post-zygotic post-mating reproductive isolation mechanism. So what is the meaning of this pre-zygotic? Means the mechanism which prevents fertilization, which prevents formation of zygote. And these can be of four types. First is our habitat or ecological, second seasonal and the temporal, third is our ethological or behavioral, and the last is our mechanical. Next is our post-zygotic. So in this, first is our gamete motility, next zygote motility, and the last is our hybrid sterility. Means here the fertilization is not prevented, but there are some factors which operates, and after fertilization the zygote is not viable, or if the hybrid is formed, that is also not able to produce more offspring because it is sterile one, or the gametes not meet in a particular life span, a particular duration, and due to which fertilization is not possible. So these are the different factors responsible for this modern synthetic theory. So we will discuss each and every factor one by one. So first is our genetic variation factors, that is our gene mutation. So what is mutation? It is a sudden permanent change, and that change should be heritable, means has to be transferred from one generation to the another. And this mutation can be of point mutation type, means mutation within a single gene. And due to this, what will occur? New alleles added into the gene pool. For example, you can see here this is a point mutation example. Here you can see this thymine is point mutated and replaced by this C, that is cytosine. So this change should be permanent and heritable, then only genetic variation is possible. Next is our genetic recombination. Recombination means combination, when something join and forms a new combination. So this genetic recombination takes place during the gamete formation, because during gamete formation the exchange of genetic material takes place. and it takes place between non-sister chromatids. And here the alleles combine and produce the recombination. For example, you can see here, this is an example of genetic recombination. There are two chromosomes, that is homologous chromosomes, and there are their sister chromatids. So the exchange takes place between these two known sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. So here you can see how the crossing over takes place, and after crossing over you can see this non-sister chromatid has a part of this yellow non-sister chromatids, and this yellow has some part of this red chromatid, and because of this variation will occur. And as it is taken place in gametes, so that is going to transfer. So again this will lead to the variation because new combination has produced, and that will be different from the original parents. Third is our gene flow or the migration. So as the name suggests, here the movement of genes takes place, and if the movement of genes is inside it, means inside the population, then we say immigration. And if the population, if the individuals move outside that population, they are moving to another population, then we say immigration. Inside and outside, entry or exit. And this gene flow can also take place by dispersal of pollen grains in case of plants. And the third mechanism is our transformation, that is the uptake of naked DNA by any bacterial cell. So these are the different ways how the gene flow or migration takes place, and again it will lead to the change in the allele frequency. So here you can see this is the example of our gene flow. So this is one population and this is a second population. And here you see there are two different types of individuals because two populations are different. So their genetic constitution is also different. So suppose this blue color has a genotype that is capital A, capital A. Here you can see at the bottom. And this red individual has a genotype that is small a, small a. So if any of these migrate into this or this, that is going to disturb this gene pool, and that will lead to the variation. Because if further interbreeding takes place between such different individuals, so that is going to change the gene pool, and if there is a gene pool change, that will lead to the variation. So these are the three factors that leads to genetic variation. Next is our genetic drift, Sewall-Wright effect, and also called founder effect or bottleneck effect. So what actually this mean? The first, Sewall-Wright is the name of the scientist who proposed this mechanism. So in this, what actually happened? So here again a random change takes place in the allele frequency, and that change is purely by chance. Here that is very important, you have to focus that this genetic drift always takes place by chance. Whatever the alteration takes place, that is a random and it is purely by chance. And this effect, that is a genetic drift effect, is more observed, or you can say we can easily observe its effect in a small population. And how this takes place? This takes place by natural disasters. If there is some natural calamity, for example earthquake, flood, fire, anything, that will lead to the reduction in the size of the population. And if the size of population is small, suppose this is a small population and here suppose 4 or 5 individuals are there, and this is a big population and here millions of individuals are living. So if there is a natural calamity here, so out of these 10, only suppose only one species is there, so there will be a marked reduction. But in this case, if there is a natural calamity and if 1000 I'm only taking as an example, if 1,000 individuals died here due to this natural phenomena, still the number is very large and that change is unnoticeable. That is not going to affect this population size. So that's why its effect is more pronounced in the population whose size is very small. And now in this, only suppose one species remain, only one individual is there after this calamity, and this one individual if migrate to a new place and forms a new population, then we say it is a founder effect, because it will act as a founder species and it is going to form species of its own. So they will act as a founder species. And why it is called a bottleneck phenomena? Because this disasters leaves few individuals from an original populations, and as we are saying, it is a pure by chance phenomena or depends on the luck of the individuals who are going to survive. It is not predetermined that which individuals are going to survive. So we can understand this by the help of a bottle. Suppose this is our bottle and these are individuals, not boards. So when you are going to invert it, you will see that only few will come out. These rounded are individuals and only few are come out, and it will not predetermine which color individual will come out. It is their luck, it is their destiny. So here you can see only these purple color will come out and only these are going to survive, and all remaining which remains inside this bottle are going to die. So that is why it is called bottleneck effect. So this again leads to the genetic variation, because a few species remain, and if they are going to move to a new place due to different environmental conditions, these are going to change. Their gene pool is going to change gradually over time, and that will ultimately lead to the genetic variation. And the last is our chromosomal aberrations, means structural morphological changes in chromosome due to rearrangement. So here there will be some rearrangement in chromosome structure, and on chromosome what are present? Genes. A number of genes are there over the chromosomes, so there will be a rearrangement in these genes. So first you can see, first chromosomal aberration is deletion type, means here the loss of genes will takes place from the chromosome. So this is our chromosome and here 6 genes are there, that is A, B, C, D, E, F. So after deletion of this B gene, you will see this is the arrangement of the gene. So here this B gene is lost. Next is duplication. So in duplication means duplication, repetition, something is repeated or double in number. So here the genes are going to double in number. So here this is the chromosome again, that same 6 genes are there. Here again this B gene is going to duplicate. Here the number of B genes are 2. So here duplication of genes takes place. And the third is our inversion. Inversion means twisting, something turn and again rejoin at the same place. There will be a twist. Invert it and again rejoins to the same place, that is called inversion. So here the sequence of genes get inverted, and what is the angle of that inversion? That is 180 degree. So they are rotated by that much angle only, that is our 180. So here you can see this is again same A, B, C, D, E genes are there on this chromosomes, and here this part, these 4 genes rotate. You can see this much 180 degree rotation is there, and again they rejoin, and because of this inversion, this rotation, what will occur? The arrangement of genes is now changed. Now the sequence of gene is AED CBF. First they invert, that is initially it is BC. What is the inversion? That is now CB. And here also sequence is DE and it inverts to DE and then rejoins. So it is an inversion. And the last is a translocation, means the transfer of a part of chromosome to a non-homologous chromosome. So in crossing over, exchange takes place between homologous chromosomes, but in this chromosomal aberration, the exchange takes place or transfer takes place between non-homologous chromosomes. So here you can see there are two non-homologous chromosomes. First is our ABCDEF1 and the second chromosome carries gene, that is GHIJKL. So here the exchange takes place between these two, and what is the result? That this first ABCJKL, so this part is exchanged between these two chromosomes, and here also this one. This last part and this last part is exchanged between these two non-homologous chromosomes. So this is our genetic variations. So we learned this complete genetic variation, how this takes place by gene mutation, genetic recombination, gene flow, genetic drift, and the last is our chromosomal aberrations. So in the next lecture we will discuss about this natural selection. If this video is useful for you, please like, subscribe our channel.